Los Angeles for a third time in 2028. And as the excitement grows, event officials say the time to try and secure your chance to get tickets is here. What are you going to be doing in 2028? I don't even know where I'm going to be then. Registration for the first ticket drop begins today. Sales will be done on a lottery system while anyone can register. People in the Los Angeles and Oklahoma City areas will have first dibs. The LA Olympic opening ceremony takes place July 14th, 2028, with the games running through July 30th.
Good Day Chicago at 8 starts now.
And right now at 8, President Donald Trump threatens to cut federal funding to sanctuary cities like Chicago amid immigration crackdowns. We're going to have Mayor Brandon Johnson's response.
Plus, the countdown to tax season begins. Wow, that was quick. And this year, you could see bigger refunds. A financial expert will join us to break down the changes.
Let's take you outside. That is snow, my friends, coming down really heavy over the city of Chicago. And coming down as we saw record highs yesterday.
Indeed. Yeah, we're going south temperature-wise. Caitlin, it is a mess out there. This stuff came pretty quickly and suddenly.
Absolutely. We've been tracking it out of Wisconsin, where the snow really picked up in intensity. Right now in Chicago, you saw those live shots. This is the heaviest snow coming down at the lakefront to O'Hare, out to Aurora, where you see this dark blue color. The further south we go, we get in on that mix of snow and rain. But we actually are going to have here shortly a snow squall warning come down because of the drop in visibility and the intensity of this snow falling at an unfortunate time. It's 8 o'clock. We're getting into rush hour. Unfortunately, we're seeing a quick coating of snowfall, even inches in our northern counties. Right now, though, behind me, you can see again where the heaviest snow is falling. Chicago to Evanston, starting to get weaker from Lake Forest to Waukegan. We still have the heavy snow coming down, covering DuPage County for Wheaton. As we get a little further south, Orland Park, Tinley Park, seeing that transition, you might see more of a sloppy rain-snow mix there. In our southwestern areas, LaSalle County, moderate snowfall coming down for you in Ottawa. Northwest Indiana, most of your precipitation is going to be mixed. We're seeing mostly green, indicating that you might see more so rain as we get closer to the lake, though. Chesterton and Michigan City, it is snowing hard. This snow is coming down at a pretty good clip. On top of that, we have very gusty winds that are going to assist in dropping that visibility. Temperatures are dropping too. Right now it's 24 degrees in Waukegan. Notice 37 as we get down to Valpo and Merrillville. Colder air is streaming in. We'll take a look at those visibilities and time out when the snow will move out ahead.
Okay, thank you, Caitlin. Appreciate it. And things have taken a turn outside this morning with all this snow.
Roseanne is outside in downtown Chicago. Look at the size of those flakes, Roseanne.
Natalie, Anthony, sometimes a news story just comes up and slaps you in the face and almost knocks you down. And in the case of this morning, I was working on another story and the wind picked up so quickly and ice pellets began coming down in the middle of my live shot. So now they've turned into snow. I believe Mike Kaplan said this was overperforming. It is unbelievable. Take a look behind me. The snow sticking to the ground and accumulating pretty quickly.
Okay, we lost Roseanne's mic. You know, a lot of technical problems do happen when the snow comes quickly, suddenly equipment freezes up. We'll check back in with her, but suffice to say, you have to be careful outside this morning if you're getting in the car. Roads are an absolute mess. There is a ground stop at O'Hare as well. But we're going to go to some breaking news this morning, a new settlement in a civil suit against Boeing. This is not the correct video right here, but this is a settlement that was reached between a family and the airplane manufacturer. Opening statements in this case were supposed to start this morning, but Clifford Law Offices say that the family and Boeing reached a deal. The case was over the 2019 crash of a Boeing 737 MAX 8 on takeoff in Ethiopia. The family is looking to hold Boeing liable. The terms of the settlement have not yet been released.
Cicero police are searching for the person who shot and killed a 17-year-old. Police say Johan Addery was shot last Thursday near Morton East High School. Family members say the person who killed him had been bullying him. Addery allegedly reported the issue to the school multiple times, but nothing was done.
They are very concerned with the situation, and it's really hard to explain how they feel to see the person who took their child's life is still not behind bars, and there is also fear about retaliation if we speak up.
We reached out to the district about the bullying claims. We have not heard back. There is a $5,000 reward for any information that leads to an arrest. The man accused of throwing his wife over the 24th floor railing of their South Loop condo building is now charged with first-degree murder. 47-year-old Adam Beckerink was in court yesterday. The charge comes nearly a year after Caitlin Tracy's death. Beckerink has been serving time for a separate domestic violence case in Michigan.
Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is going after President Trump and his office over threats to withhold funding from sanctuary cities.
Starting February 1st, we're not making any payments to sanctuary cities or states having sanctuary cities because they do everything possible to protect criminals at the expense of American citizens, and it breeds fraud and crime and all of the other problems that come. So we're not making any payment to anybody that supports sanctuary cities.
The move comes as the Trump administration increases immigration enforcement nationwide. Mayor Brandon Johnson calls the move blatantly unconstitutional and immoral, saying in a statement that Chicagoans pay billions of dollars in federal taxes, and it is far past time that we receive our just due from the federal government. All right, a week after an ICE agent shot and killed a woman, tensions continue to build in the city of Minneapolis.
Brian Jackson joins us now with how local and federal officials are now challenging each other. Brian?
Well, a week after that shooting, that political fallout continues. On Tuesday, multiple prosecutors resigned from the local U.S. Attorney's Office, citing concerns over the investigation into Renee Nicole Good's death. On Capitol Hill, members of the Congressional Progressive Caucus said that they will not vote for any funding bill supporting immigration enforcement. But DHS is doubling down, saying that the mission is about ensuring safety and security.
We should not continue to fund agencies that operate with impunity.
Our ICE operation in Minnesota, for example, is finding hundreds of killers, violent predators.
Turning to Iran now, where the number of people killed during a crackdown on anti-government demonstrations has shot up to more than 2,500, including 12 children. More than 18,000 protesters have been detained so far, and head of the Iran's judiciary is promising quick trials and executions for those arrested. President Trump said on Tuesday that help is on the way. Right now, it's not clear exactly where that help will come from, whether it's the Pentagon or in other kinds of support for the protesters. Also, the president has just upped the drama for talks about Greenland in D.C. today. On Truth Social this morning, he said that anything less than U.S. control of Greenland is unacceptable and that NATO should be pushing for U.S. control. The vice president is supposed to meet with officials from Denmark and Greenland later today. Now, Denmark, which is a NATO ally, controls Greenland. Greenland says if there is a choice between the U.S. and Denmark, then Greenland would choose Denmark.
All right, Brian, interesting. Thank you. The Bears going to look to keep their playoff run alive when they host the Rams on Sunday.
And slowing down the Rams offense, this is going to be the big challenge for the Bears deep. Matthew Stafford, quarterback here, let's just say he had a good season, okay? He's threw for over 4,700 passing yards on the year, threw for 46 touchdowns, which is 9 off the single-season record. Was on fire. He's a front runner for MVP. He also teamed up with one of the game's most respected coaches, Sean McVay, who talked about what he has seen thus far this season out of the Chicago Bears.
I think there's a belief that they've established. And I think when you have those types of successful outcomes, no different than Matthew the other day, I think he had full expectation to lead us down the field. I feel that when I watch Caleb and I watch that team. There's a belief that they can find ways to finish, and that's why they're in this situation. But he's going to be a nightmare to defend. And we're excited about diving into this prep because here we freaking go, man.
There it is right there. Make sure you tune in for Bears Game Day live on Sunday. That starts at 12:30. We will have all the latest on any injury reports, the big headlines ahead of kickoff, any factors playing into this huge matchup. And then after the game's over, got to tune into our post-game coverage here on Fox Chicago. Your home for the Bears.
And right now, it's us versus the snow. Caitlin Cody's taking a look at all of the craziness out there.
The heavy snowfall coming down in Chicago, but I do want to start off showing where this pink color indicates the snow squall warning in anticipation of the snow that is still headed south. So the snow squall warning is in effect for southern portions of Cook County, Will County, northern Kankakee into northwest Indiana, Lake Porter, northern Jasper and Newton counties until 9 because this heavy snow is going to be shifting south. Where is it falling now? Well, over the city. As we round the lake, Gary, Porter, Michigan City getting in on the heavy snowfall. Oak Lawn all the way out to DeKalb County covered in snowfall. We are seeing that mix happening in portions of northwest Indiana and Kankakee, so you may see a bit of a mixed precipitation, but over the next few hours, these temperatures are going to be dropping, and that snow is still going to be falling, I would say, until about midday as we get south of the city. Right now, though, again, the heaviest snowfall is coming down over Chicago, Midway, Oak Lawn, O'Hare, Wheaton, Bolingbrook, Evanston. It's starting to get lighter for you. Heavy snowfall in LaSalle County over Ottawa. The temperatures are going to be an issue as well. We're already seeing them drop. We're going to be in the 20s this afternoon. A full check of your forecast is ahead.
Thank you, Caitlin. Get ready. I'm acting like I'm real excited about this. The 2026 tax filing season is almost here. We're talking with financial expert Rob Burnett about the new changes that you need to be aware of this year versus last year and what they could mean for your refund.
Can't believe it's already time to start working on taxes. Okay, we're also going to have more weather coverage. This is a rough go out there this morning. But before we get to all that and go to break, here's a quick look at your 7-day forecast. We'll be right back.
What are you girls doing?
We're doing all the heating, plumbing, and electric around here.
All right, I know you girls know stuff, but let's leave it to our trusted local experts. Let's call Four Seasons.
It's about time you figured it out.
Whether it's heating, cooling, plumbing, electric, air duct cleaning, or generators, you can always trust Four Seasons.
For all the right reasons, call 866-4 Seasons.
Every neighborhood.
$8:13, the start of tax season just days away. There are some big changes you're going to want to know before you file. Rob Burnett is the CEO of Outlook Financial Center, and he's here to help us prepare. Now, look, okay, I get it. This is not a topic that is exciting. It is not the shiny object, but we got to talk about it. And I was curious, Rob, what are the big differences in filing this year? Obviously, we're supposed to get a larger return, but what else do we need to know?
Primarily, the one thing that doesn't change year to year is make sure you get accurate information to your tax preparer and get them all the documents they need on time. There are certain documents, for example, if you have investment accounts that are taxable accounts, I know you're not going to have those documents till at least the end of February, maybe later. So just understand that when you work with your tax preparer, or if you're doing your own taxes, have a checklist, make sure you've got everything covered. If you've got itemized deductions you think you might want to take, have them together. A lot of things have changed since last tax year. So just make sure that whatever you do, you've got everything together. So when you do the filing, the filing is due on April 15th, but let me remind you, if you have a tax amount due and you do an extension, that tax is still due April 15th. So make a payment with an extension.
Okay, so what are the differences from last year? What do we need to know?
Primarily, a lot of the pandemic era events have gone away. So the child tax credit has changed. The tax rates have stabilized, so they're not going up. They're the same. Some things are now indexed for inflation. The things to know is if you are age 65 and older, there's an extra $6,000 deduction. That was partial fulfillment of President Trump's promise to no tax on Social Security. The reconciliation process wouldn't let him do that, so this was their answer, and that's good for 4 tax years. No taxes on tip, no taxes on overtime. That has really confused a lot of people. The idea behind that is it's just the overtime portion. So let's say you work 50 hours a week, 10 hours that, you get overtime pay. You're going to pay 50 hours a week. Straight pay is going to be taxable. It's that half time and a half, the half portion is what's going to be tax-free. So the standard deductions are going up. So there's a lot of positive things. People are going to be looking at potentially larger tax refunds. If you get a big tax refund, I'm going to say shame on you, because you just gave the U.S. government an interest-free loan for a period of time. You don't want to do that. So sit down with your tax preparer and let's look at the Form W-4, which is your instructions to your payroll departments on how you want taxes withheld. See if you need to do estimated tax payments as well. As the idea is, as of April 15th, you want to make sure you're as close to having your taxes adjudicated and accurate, even though you may not file the return for several months.
Back now to that no taxes on tips and overtime. I don't have to do anything if I accrued over. I just need to turn my W-2 over, right? And then the government can decide. I mean, I don't need to like keep a ledger of like, okay, I worked about 10 hours of overtime. I mean, because I think that is confusing for people.
It is. So one of the things we're asking our tax clients to do is send us your last pay stub for 2025. Because that's going to have listed in there your regular pay, any overtime pay, so that we can then track it from there, because your W-2 isn't necessarily going to call that out yet. So help your tax preparer from that perspective. You don't have to keep a record in the ledger. No, you don't have to do that. That will all be on your pay stub.
Good, because I don't want any more that I have to do. All right, Rob, thank you so much for your insights, sir, this morning.
You're very welcome. Have a great day.
You too.
Good info there, Nat. Appreciate it. Time now, 8:17.
And here's some of the other stories we're following for you this morning. Boeing has settled a lawsuit that was filed here in Chicago. The case was over the 2019 crash of a Boeing 737 MAX 8 on takeoff in Ethiopia. The plaintiffs were looking to hold Boeing liable for the deaths of several loved ones on board. The terms of the settlement have not been released.
Cicero police are searching for the person who shot and killed a 17-year-old. This happened last Thursday near Morton East High School. Family members say that the person who killed Johan Adari had been bullying him. We reached out to the school district about those bullying claims. We have yet to hear back.
Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is going after President Trump and his administration over threats to withhold funding from sanctuary cities. The move comes as the Trump administration increases immigration enforcement nationwide. Mayor Brandon Johnson calls the move blatantly unconstitutional and immoral.
All right, it is time to check back in with Caitlin, who is very busy this morning tracking this sudden and powerful little snowstorm that just hit right during a rush hour. Caitlin?
Unfortunate timing, absolutely. Whiteout conditions possible. And we actually have a snow squall warning in effect from southern portions of Cook County, stretching down into Will County, Kankakee, into northwest Indiana, where that heaviest snowfall is now moving. You can see behind me, or you can't see behind me, because of all that snow that's coming down. Not only is it snowing snowing hard, but we also have very strong gusty winds dragging in colder air. Behind me, let's take a look at the radar. Again, snow is still coming down at a good clip from Chicago to Evanston. Aurora still with the snowfall, starting to see drier skies return for portions of DeKalb County and McHenry County. But now in the line of fire is going to be Will County and Northwest Indiana, as I mentioned. So I-65 is going to be a mess right now as that rain has transitioned now over to snowfall. So you can see the darker blue shades, Oak Lawn to Romeoville, some heavy snowfall coming down for you, also in Ottawa. So we do expect whiteout conditions possible this morning. Over the next few hours, that snow is going to decrease, and so are these temperatures. We're already seeing the 20s out there. This has happened very fast. It is 23 degrees in Waukegan, 26 at O'Hare, 29 at the lakefront, now 27. Still in the 30s, holding on there in Northwest Indiana, but shortly the 20s will be there too. Now, talking about the wind speeds, these gusts are above 50 miles per hour for a few of you. 51 miles per hour now being reported in Aurora, as well as in Gary. So the snow is falling, the snow is blowing, and also it's going to add to the chill in the air. Talking about visibility, looking at our map, you can see down to a half mile from O'Hare to Aurora, Chicago Heights, Gary down to a quarter mile of visibility. If you can avoid travel over the next few hours, I would encourage you to do so. Our day planner has those temperatures, as mentioned, in the 20s through most of the day today. We are going to have that potential for heavy snow this morning, and then it does weaken, with the exception of Northwest Indiana and southwestern Michigan, where lake effect snow is expected to set up. Behind me, you can see our winter storm alerts. Winter storm warning in pink here, advisory for Porter County now in purple, because that is where the snow is going to continue into your Thursday. So we are going to have that snowfall, the bands set up that lake effect as we round the lake, even through this afternoon and into tomorrow. So in the meantime, right now we do have that snow coming down hard. We are going to see a quick accumulation this morning. Luckily, in the next few hours, that snow is going to slowly start to shift south, decrease in intensity, and then we're just going to be dealing with the cold temperatures this afternoon. I'll time out that potential for lake effect, and when that moves out, also the all-important Bears forecast for this weekend. It's all ahead.
Thank you very much, Caitlin. Busy morning for her. 8:21. Here's a quick look at what is coming up for us later on Chicago Now. After years of constant notification, endless scrolling, guess what? Analog is making a comeback. Talk about that. A psychotherapist is going to join us to talk about what you can do to reclaim your life from technology. And for one Chicago-based artist, every day is Halloween. Rob Kelsey is going to join us and talk about, he's a really unique artist, local guy, how he finds beauty in the macabre. Now, this may not be surprising, but Illinois' binge drinking rate is higher than the national average. Some people are changing their habits, though, and an addiction specialist is going to join us to explain the benefits of sobriety beyond just dry January. We'll be excited for that rundown at 10 o'clock, and we'll be right back after this short break here on Good Day.
It's Ashley's.
All right, welcome back. There's some promising news to report this morning in the battle against cancer. A new report shows that for the first time, about 70% of people are living 5 or more years after being diagnosed with cancer. Dr. Shikha Jain, she is a board-certified hematology and oncology physician, and she joins us this morning to explain what is behind the data. Shikha, thank you so much for being here on the program. First up, what is your big takeaway from this report? Some promising results here.
Yeah, I think the biggest takeaway is the statistic you just shared, which is 70% of people, or 7 out of 10 people diagnosed with cancer, are living 5 or more years, which is up significantly from about 50% back in the 70s and 80s. So we are really seeing a huge increase in people who are diagnosed with cancer who are living for 5 or more years, and even in those cancers that have been traditionally very difficult to treat, like melanoma.
What is behind this improvement?
I think there's a lot of things behind it. Number one, we've got early screening and detection. So a lot of cancers are being detected earlier, like things like breast cancer and colon cancer. We also have seen incredible advancements when it comes to treatment. So systemic treatments like immunotherapy that activates your immune system, new types of surgical techniques and new ways to really treat people in innovative ways. Research and cancer research that's been coming out has been phenomenal. And I have to say that when it comes to prevention of cancer, things like the HPV vaccine and hepatitis B vaccines have really done a great job when it comes to preventing cancer. So many innovations that we've seen over the last several decades due to incredible research and advancements in this space.
This is promising to hear. Is there, if you had to give like a most improved award to a single type of cancer that maybe became more treatable and was in the past, more fatal, what are some of those conditions?
So melanoma is one of those cancers that has been really, especially metastatic melanoma in the past, the prognosis was very poor. And with the rise of immunotherapy, we've seen a huge improvement there. Myeloma, multiple myeloma is another one. Rectal cancer, we've seen huge advancements. So a lot of those cancers that in the past were more difficult to treat, especially with advanced disease, we are seeing really gigantic changes in the lifespan and the overall prognosis.
This is great. Now, in terms of overall cancer rates, so people are living longer once they're diagnosed. That's a great thing. But let's put this in context a little bit. Are cancer rates coming down, or are there more people being diagnosed here in 2025 than they were decades ago?
So we are seeing an increase in cancer rates, especially in certain types of cancers like breast cancers. The concern is, why are we seeing that, right? We get asked that all the time. Why are we seeing more cancers, and why are we seeing more cancers in younger people? And there's a lot of reasons for that. I mentioned earlier, screening is really great because we're able to diagnose people earlier and more people are getting screened. But we also think that there's some environmental contributions. So things like climate change and pollution can also expose people to things. We've seen data about microplastics and how that type of exposure and people getting exposed to that can increase your risk for cancer. We know that eating processed foods and red meats can actually increase your risk of colorectal cancer, so lifestyle changes. So there's a lot of reasons why we could potentially be seeing an increase in certain types of cancers, and especially the concerning increase in younger people with new diagnoses of cancers.
Yeah. I know we only have a few seconds, and this is a big question to kind of leave you with, but anything at home, we've got a lot of viewers have young kids there. Is it all about, avoiding processed foods and being mindful of exposure to that kind of thing?
Absolutely. That's not all of it. It's also staying up to date with your vaccines and your screenings. But I've got young kids. We try to use less plastics in our house, more metal water bottles, trying to avoid those processed foods and limiting red meat in the house. If you're an adult, limiting alcohol. Obviously, cigarettes we know are not good for you. And living a healthy lifestyle. The more fresh fruits and vegetables you can eat, the more lean meats you can eat, like chicken and fish and things along those lines. So really thinking about healthy eating and avoiding processed foods, red meats, alcohol, smoking, and exercise. We know that exercise actually has a huge impact on not only preventing cancer diagnoses, but if you're diagnosed with cancer, actually improving your overall survival and the amount of time you live.
Dr. Jain, you are a master at covering a lot of territory in a short amount of time, so we really appreciate it here on the news. Always good to see you, Dr. Jain. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, she paused her commute for us, which is a rough go out there this morning, everybody. If you're out in the car, take it easy out there. Allow extra travel time if you can, if you are about to leave. All right, let's talk about the Bears. They've been kind of nicknamed the Cardiac Bears this season, raising stress levels at game time. So we're actually going to dive into this a little bit and ask ourselves, when is it time to perhaps take a timeout? A psychologist is going to join us to talk about a couple of ways to ease our game day, what's known as fan-anxiety. Caitlin, fan-anxiety.
Fan-anxiety.
Yeah.
All right, well, this morning, the heaviest snowfall, I just want to shout out a couple spots. Southern Cook County, northern Will County, now heading into northwest Indiana, Lake and Porter County. That's where the snow is coming down the heaviest at the moment. Although I will say downtown, it looks like a snow globe, and someone just got the most epic picture in front of the bean. It's beautiful, but it is hazardous. We'll take a look at your full forecast, including these dropping temperatures ahead.
All right. Unfortunately, you're going to hit some unexpected trouble this morning because of the snow.
Roseanne is downtown with some quickly accumulating snow. Roseanne, show us what you're seeing out there.
Well, let's take a look. You are seeing the snow sticking down here. It's not the snow globe kind of snow. In fact, if you look at the sky, it almost looks like a dust storm. But all of that dust, they're little ice pellets smacking you in the face when you walk to work this morning. So we're seeing a lot of people actually using umbrellas. You're going to use whatever you can in this weather. And I strongly advise you to put your hood on immediately, because once it fills with snow, it's just not the same. We ran into one of our managing editor who had that problem. The wind kept blowing her hood off, so it filled with snow. Also, I have someone here, Annie, who just came in from Wicker Park, and she's going to tell us a little bit about, what is it like? How would you describe it, Annie?
I would say definitely whipping winds. You need to make sure you're careful with your face, because that wind is swirling around and will hit you at different points and feel like blizzard conditions at moments.
Right. I can't help but notice your Bears hat. So if there were a Bears game and the weather was like this, I think I know the answer to this question. Would you go anyway?
Absolutely. We got to see Caleb do a slip and slide.
Right. You bring up a good point, Annie. Thanks for stopping to talk to us. I've seen a lot of people slipping and sliding on the way in the building. So that's another thing to be aware of. This is hitting, and in some cases, it's staying a little icy out there. So we're out here just kind of keeping an eye on things. But honestly, it feels like the wind is dying down just a little bit. But the snow is going to continue, and I'm sure that's going to make for an interesting ride in. Annie, did you drive? I forgot, did you say you drove?
No, I took the blue line.
Okay.
Yeah.
You took the blue line. Very smart.
Yes.
You may want to take the train this morning, because this is going to be an adventure. Back to you in the studio.
What a mess. And we were reporting that O'Hare had a ground stop because of the quickly falling snow out there. All right, Caitlin is standing by, and she has got a look at the forecast. When will we see this taper off, Caitlin?
It's starting to taper off already. If you just heard Roseanne mention the winds are starting to die down. If you look behind me, the heaviest snowfall is now moving south of the city, but we still have the snow coming down over Chicago. Don't get me wrong. But if you take a look to our north, we're already seeing drying conditions in northern portions of Cook County into Lake County. The snow is still coming down light in portions of Kane and Kendall County, but the heaviest snow now is in northwest Indiana, Lake, Porter County, Will County, and now moving down into Kankakee, where you see this dark blue line here. This is that snow squall that has a warning associated with it, now including the rest of Kankakee, Jasper, and Newton counties, because it is going to continue its path to the south. And with that, dropping visibility and those gusty winds, it's going to be hazardous. Whiteout conditions expected. The temperatures, this is a whole nother story. Take a look behind me at the range here. It's 21 degrees in Waukegan, but 35 in Kankakee. Cold air is shifting in, and the rest of the day is going to be in the 20s. Now, when the snow moves out of Chicago, we still are going to have some lake effect snowfall in Porter, LaPorte, and Berrien County through the day. You can see snow is continuing to fall even into this evening, tonight, heading into Thursday. The snow is still falling as lake effect in those spots. So from Valpo points east, that snow is actually going to continue to be an issue even into your Thursday. But for the rest of us, it is going to be a cold one. We'll take a look at that full 7-day forecast coming up.
Thanks, Caitlin. And we are getting pumped up for the Bears as they make their playoff run. Coming your way at 9 o'clock, the team's own DJ is going to show us how he keeps fans energized throughout the game.
Big job. We'll be right back. Stay safe out there.
Christian
All right, this season, the so-called cardiac Bears have made dramatic finishes a staple of their brand, and their next game against the Rams, obviously their most important yet. But you don't have to die over being a diehard fan, everybody. Dr. Julia Garcia, she is a psychologist and an author, and Dr. Garcia is joining us this morning to talk about ways to maybe limit our what's known as fan anxiety. Yeah, Dr. Garcia, is this a real thing, fan anxiety?
It is, because, you know, our brains don't really know the difference between what is real and what's not. It only knows that we care. So if you are a diehard fan, your brain's like, you care, this is going to be an intense experience. So that's actually a good thing in the ways that we just know right off the bat. This actually means we care, that we're feeling all the feelings. And that's really the powerful thing about being a fan is you have all these intense feelings that if you, what I call repurpose them, you can use them not for like this conflict, but for connection. And we can think about the communities that we get to be a part of, that sense of belonging, that passion we get to express by being a part of these communities that really care about these teams.
Yeah, okay, so there's kind of a positive side to the connection here. I want to ask you, though, in terms of like fan anxiety, is it harmful, or is this just, you know, another way of saying sports are fun and exciting to watch, and you know, the drama is why we all tune in?
I mean, anything can be harmful when it's not managed, right? So really, I talk about hope in applying it to every situation, especially with anxiety and having hope. It helps us have emotional regulation, because sometimes what happens is when we have and experience these intense feelings, we don't always know how to manage them and regulate them. And that's how it can maybe turn towards more of danger zone, the hijack kind of some of our ability to maintain our ability to be present, to have that fun. So we just want to make sure that we're able to feel feelings in a way that doesn't hijack our experience. So we can actually even think about what is the outcome we want from watching this game, no matter what the outcome of the game is. Do we want to have a good time? And when we preset those values, it helps us when we kind of start to steer out of maybe our emotional regulation to remind ourselves why we're really here, because we really wanted to take our brother to the game to bond. Right. So it's kind of realigning with those value sets so that it doesn't steer towards the place of being a danger zone.
I have been hijacked myself by out of control emotions during certain sporting events, and it becomes kind of a negative experience rather than something fun. So let's drill down. What is your advice to folks during the game itself to kind of make sure that your experience doesn't get hijacked, as you phrased it?
All right. First, let's give your mind an assignment. All right, let's give your body an assignment. So when we're feeling discouraged or we're let down, what is that cue that we're going to tell our body to do? Is it going to be we're going to just turn and give someone a high five? I mean, if you look at volleyball players, I feel like they do this really well. They will hit the ball over the net, or it hits the net and they don't get a point, but they still all clap because it's preset. So having that preset of what's my body going to do, because that way we can start to train ourselves. We can build these emotional and external habits that keep us in the lane of having fun, having a good time.
I noticed that NBA players do, like basketball players do that too. Even if they miss a free throw, they've all got their kind of high five routine after that missed free throw, and it kind of sets them right. Any other advice you have? I know you talk about hope a lot, but will it help us to just even if the Bears aren't doing well on Sunday, to maintain early in the game, because we know they're going to come back and win, but maintaining hope during the game, will that help the experience and keep us engaged?
100%. Hope is what helps us in our goals, our motivation, our emotional regulation. It's scientifically proven to do all of these things. So if you have hope, even just a little bit. So here's the trick. You don't have to have a lot of hope. You don't have to be like, oh, we are going to come back from a huge deficit. You just have to have a little bit of hope, and that hope helps your emotional regulation system. It helps you build the tools you need to stay having fun, having a good time. But without hope, we know what happens when we don't have hope, and we can get really discouraged, really down on ourselves, and maybe even that starts to spiral us into other things that we don't want to happen. So having hope is a key, it's a critical ingredient as a fan, and it helps us with all areas of the roller coaster ride of emotions that we may experience.
I love that. Those are great marching orders. Dr. Julia Garcia, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
So there you go, Caitlin. Even if the Bears are down, which they have been historically in the first half of all these games, you maintain hope, and then you won't have moments like me where you freak out at a bad play and then your kids yell at you like, Daddy, that was too loud for my ears.
Oh, no.
That kind of thing.
I can't imagine that from you.
Yeah, no, it happens.
He said that his grandpa used to record the game.
Yeah, my grandpa used to record him because he knew he couldn't handle watching them live.
So that might be a
record 'em all.
solution too.
There you
Record
go.
it, know the score, and then you can watch what happened. All right, let's talk about this forecast. It is going to be a snowy start, a messy start on the roads, especially from Chicago points south now is where the snow is coming down at the strongest clip. We still have some light scattered snow in Chicago, but I wanted to get right to the radar to show you that the snow is now moving into northwest Indiana, Will and Kankakee County. Heavy snowfall, gusty winds, dropping visibility, and leading to a quick accumulation of snowfall on the ground, believe it or not. Temperatures are dropping down into the 20s. It's already cold outside, and we still have those gusts above 40 to around 50 miles per hour possible this morning. Temperatures, as mentioned, in the 20s. I'm talking about around 20 for northern areas. Like Waukegan, it's 21 degrees, 23 at Woodstock and DeKalb, 27 at the lakefront. The 30s still holding on by a thread there in northwest Indiana, but not for long. This cold air is pushing into Chicagoland. You can see these gusts. What I mean by pushing, it's 51 miles per hour in Gary right now. 46-mile-per-hour wind gusts reported in Aurora, 37 in Waukegan. Now, we are going to have this first round of snow move out later this morning, but additional lake effect snow is expected from Porter County all the way into Berrien County. And now in Porter County, including Valpo, there's a winter weather advisory until 9 a.m. tomorrow because we could see up to about 5 inches of snowfall rounding the lake. For LaPorte and Berrien County, where this warning is in effect, up to a foot of snow is not out of the question. So let's take a look at the next 12 hours. As mentioned, temperatures already dropping down in the 20s for most of us. That's going to be where we stay through the rest of the day today. Our 7-day forecast, though, shows the cold air. It's not going anywhere. In fact, tomorrow's high right around 26. Friday, 37. That chance for snow back Thursday night into Friday. This weekend, yikes. The Bears game, a high on Sunday, 18 degrees. And then early next week, starting off around 20. It's 8:46. We have much more ahead. Stay with us.
You're watching.
Welcome back. Chicago's plan to legalize video gambling terminals passed last month as part of the city's budget plan. However, this aspect of the plan doesn't seem like a done deal quite yet. The Chicago Tribune is reporting that Mayor Brandon Johnson and several alders are still negotiating changes. The plan is expected to bring in $6.8 million this coming year, but Chicago received just 5% of that revenue in 2025. All right, other news, a rare autographed basketball card, Michael Jordan rookie card. It's going up for auction. There it is right there. This thing is going to fetch a pretty penny. Right now, the current bid on Heritage Auctions is $360 grand. It's a 1986 Fleer card. It is signed by Jordan. Cranes reports there are only 23 of these cards in existence.
Governor Pritzker weighing in on the Bears Stadium conversation. During an interview on Tuesday, he said he is willing to help the team stay here in Illinois so taxpayers won't foot the bill.
What's true is that I'm more and more excited about the prospect that the Bears might actually get to the Super Bowl again. And so we're going to crush the Rams this weekend, which I'm looking forward to. Bears always beat Rams. And not always in football, but in every other way. And so we're going to do it this weekend in football, and I'm excited about that. But the prospects, look, I've always said that that building a stadium is, from my perspective, about doing what's best for the taxpayers. This is a private business. We help private businesses all the time in the state, and I want to help. If it's with infrastructure, as we do with other private businesses, that's absolutely a way we could do that. But as I've said, and the Bears have heard this, that we're not going to build a stadium for the Chicago Bears.
Bears executives recently sent a survey to season ticket holders asking them how they would feel about a new stadium in Indiana. Well, love it or hate it, Fear Factor is back, and Jake is talking with new host Johnny Knoxville about what's in store this season.
Fox.
You got your affairs in order? These contestants, they're dealing with deep-seated fears and phobias.
Get me out, Johnny.
A lot of people are scared of confinement in small spaces.
Tickle, tickle, tickle.
The ocean, spiders, snakes. People are scared of heights. And I'm here to, one part, make it a little worse for them. Nothing like 4-day-old fermented egg juice. But mostly I've been trying to help them grow and get it all on camera.
Disturbing. No. Yeah. Fear Factor, it's back. It's got a brand new host this time. You'll recognize.
A group of strangers will face disgusting challenges, heart-racing stunts, and scary situations in hopes of walking away with the grand prize.
This Fear Factor, it premieres on Fox today. And a few months ago, Jake went to the set to talk with the new host, Johnny Knoxville. Here we go.
Yep, you're rolling.
Sounds good. Sounds great. Whenever y'all are ready.
Awesome. Johnny, good to see you again. I'm Johnny Knoxville, and this is Fear Factor.
It's crazy to think that Jackass and Fear Factor both premiered within 9 months of each other.
Hi, I'm Johnny Knoxville. Welcome to Jackass.
What do you remember you and the guys thinking of Fear Factor when it debuted? Do you guys remember ever sort of talking about it, because it was kind of in the vein of what each of you were doing?
Oh man, I'm going to be honest. We were on another planet in our heads on various substances, so we didn't know what was going on in the world. But you know, Fear Factor was a huge hit show.
Yep.
So I'm very happy to be at the helm of this new show. Welcome to your next challenge. It will test your fear of open water, drowning, and freezing temperatures.
Oh my God.
They hired you to talk, and we were watching you today, and you're fantastic at it.
Oh, stop.
It's
He
true.
always says
It's
that.
true.
You got this.
Oh my God!
They don't got this.
What are some of the things that you know from experience? That's the last thing I want to hear in this moment.
I don't really I just go away from everybody and go to my own place, and then when they're ready, I'm like, Jeff, when you're ready for me, just call me in. I'll walk in the ring and get smoked by the bull, and I don't want to hear anything.
Yeah.
They don't have that luxury of
Sure.
like going away on their own, because they have people surrounding them all the time. So they have to kind of find their way, and each of them has to figure out a way to trick their brain so that they can complete whatever challenge or attempt. I always ask them, if you can't complete it, just attempt. And it's interesting to watch how some of them did shift and be able to do things that they couldn't do in the beginning.
No, please get me out.
Don't threaten me with a good time. Yeah, it's okay to step on your.
You know, Fox has never given me this footage.
Yeah, there's a lot to
Okay.
sift through there.
Yeah, I never got into that show when it first kind of debuted, but one of my friends from college actually went on the show and did something where she ate worms or something like that.
No way.
Yeah.
Sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah, and all for that grand prize money, Caitlin.
Of what,
Length-
$500?
Yeah, something easy like that.
Ooh, not a fan of that. Yeah, okay, let's talk about this weather, because it is actually very hazardous out there, especially in northwest Indiana, portions of Kankakee, and in Will County. So I do want to specifically point out, because we are, is this my mic? I'm sorry if I'm hitting something. We do have treacherous travel expected on I-65 there in Lake County. I mentioned Will County, down into northern Kankakee County. That's where the heaviest snow is happening currently. We still have some light snow over our city, but luckily we're starting to see the drying trend happen. Now with that, we still have this snow squall warning in effect, and it's going to continue to push into Jasper, Newton counties, and southern Kankakee County as the drop in visibility happens. So we are going to have gusty winds, cold temperatures. Right now we're seeing those winds gusting to 48 miles per hour in Gary, 40 in Aurora, 36 in Waukegan. This is adding to the visibility drops throughout Chicagoland. Visibility map showing down to a quarter mile in Valpo, as well as Chicago Heights, midway down to a half-mile visibility, and a quarter mile in Joliet. So not only are we dealing with snow on the ground, but also just the lack of being able to see in front of your vehicle. Temperatures outside, I mentioned how we're dropping. Many of us in the 20s already. 27 at the lakefront, 24 at O'Hare. Still holding on to the low 30s from Merrillville to Valpo. Not stopping that snow from gathering on the roadways. Our Futurecast does show again we're going to have that potential for snow this morning, but that lake effect snow is expected to continue even into tomorrow for portions of Porter County and locations east. We'll take a look at that full 7-day forecast, including our frigid weekend ahead. Stay with us.